Do you ever look at your life and you think, something's just not right? I'm not totally happy. And you think your life is kind of following the path you don't really want it to. You don't feel right going to work every day. You don't feel right following all these rules that everybody else is telling you to do, right? Well, you're in luck because today we are talking with an amazing health and self-love coach, Allie LeFevere, and she will share with us how you can live by your own rules so you can finally have the amazing, fulfilling life that you deserve. So keep watching this video and learn these fantastic tips. All right. Hi, Allie. Thanks so much for meeting with me. I wanted to introduce everybody to Allie LeFevere. She's an amazing, amazing health coach and a self-love coach. And I've had the pleasure of meeting her in one of her workshops, and it was very much life-changing. And you guys can probably see it in my blog. I wrote about this a while ago. So thanks so much for meeting with me.
Well, thank you for having me. It's great to see you again.
So why don't we start with you just having us tell us a little bit more about yourself and your coaching practice and whatever you want to tell us.
Oh my gosh, anything. I can tell you anything. So I started, well, I guess I'll tell you my background a little bit. I started in the consulting world. I worked for 6 years in the consulting world, so I was a corporate nerd. And it was good. I liked my job at the time, and then slowly but surely I started to realize that my passions and the things I was interested in, the things I cared about, were very much misaligned with sitting behind a desk all day long in an office. And for me, self-love and self-care and body image and all those things were so important because I had my own struggles with that myself, and so that was always part of who I was. So between the ages of 18 to 24, that was really part of my story, and I did a lot of work to overcome my own struggles and learn through them and grow past them and grow from them. But I was still kind of in this corporate world and not really allowing myself to kind of unleash all the lessons that I learned. And so about 3.5 years ago, maybe about 4 years ago, I started to dabble part-time in coaching. I did a couple programs and started doing coaching part-time. And then about 2 years ago, I decided, you know what, this is just so much fun. I love it. The clients I have are phenomenal, and I want to go full force. And as soon as I did, everything lit up for me. I realized that this is exactly what I care about. I want to spend my day with amazing women. I'm really helping them to achieve the self-love and self-worth that I really, really struggled with myself, and I worked really, really hard to really trying to gather again. So that's what I've been doing. That's kind of how I got to where I am now. And now I do coaching and workshops and working on some fun retreats now. And so, yeah, it's been awesome.
That's awesome. Retreats. I want to know about that. I haven't been to any retreats yet, but I totally want to. So that's awesome. When do you think was when did the light bulb kind of go off for you, and when you realized I want to do more when did you get started with coaching, like self-love? When did you think that was the actual thing that was missing?
So I think for me, it really kind of hit home about, I would say, as I was starting to move out of my eating disorder, really do a lot of self-work, self-care, reading the books, seeing my own coach, really surrounding myself with amazing women who were like-minded. That was about a 2-year process of oh my gosh, I love this world. This is really making me feel good. It feels good to be a part of this process in my own world, and then also be able to share some of my lessons and my learnings and the things that I've gone through with other people. And so 2 years into just really wanting to be in that world, I was like, you know what, I have to be in this world. I keep going to the office every day, and I'm like a shade of gray. I'm not really excited by the work I'm doing. I'm not really engaged in the work I'm doing. I'm sure it's changing people's lives in some way, but not in a way that I care about. So it really just got to a point where I didn't feel like myself when I would go into the office, and I would feel like myself when I would leave my office and do coaching and start working with women. So again, it took about a 2-year transition. I think 1, because I wasn't ready. 2, because I knew that my life would probably shift dramatically. Yeah. And 3rd, I had to kind of give up these beliefs that I was that success meant the corporate track versus success being on my own terms.
Oh yeah.
So I think that there was a lot of little layers to it, but yeah, about 4 years ago, I just, enough was enough. And I really knew that this was the direction I wanted to head in.
That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like it's because it's so unconventional. Like, I feel like everybody sees success as being this professional, like, buttoned up kind of in the suit person. Even
Yeah.
in my own life, I still kind of see that, like, people thinking that you're successful because you work in finance industry or something like that. And then
Yeah.
when someone says, "No, I'm actually following my dreams and I love what I do, and I'm gonna make money because I love what I'm doing, and that's gonna, project itself." They're kind of like, I don't know if this is exactly, so it's kind of like an unconventional thing, I think.
Absolutely. And I think that people always hear you say, "Oh, I want to follow my passion and live out my dreams," and then people think, "Oh, yeah, that's kind of fluff," or "Oh, yeah, that's better served as a hobby."
Yeah.
But I think when you're really in it and you're really doing something you care about, I mean, that is its own version of success, and you can attach any dollar amount you want to it. But when you're really filled up and doing something that you feel completely created to do, I mean, that is success. And I think for me, having a more traditional background, I had to really redefine that. This college I went to, then the career I had, it was success was something very different than it is for me now. Mm-hmm. And I prefer my success now any day of the week. I get to sit in my yoga pants behind a computer and talk to anyone I want. So, I mean, that's pretty damn cool.
That's awesome. So basically what you're saying is, like, you love to live by your own rules. And I know you talk about this on your website a lot too. And I love, like, I totally read the 20 rules of your own, it's better to live life, on your own terms kind of thing. So how did you get to that?
Oh gosh, I'm so dedicated and committed to listening to other people, listening to other people's life lessons and what they've gone through, how they've grown. I love talking to people and understanding how they've kind of achieved their goals and their dreams. Mm-hmm. Really from listening to my clients, I read a ton. I travel quite a bit. A lot of my own lessons, my own life learnings, the things that work for me or didn't, the things that I find that make me happy or don't, when I feel my best or when I don't, and kind of all those smatterings pulled together, I developed my list of 20 rules to live by, which are my rules to live by, but I feel like I've created them in a way that are pretty open and flexible and pretty funny. That I think could be tweaked for anyone. So that's kind of how I developed them. It's just been like a lot of learnings all rolled into one, plus lots of sarcasm.
Yeah, no, I love it. That's the way to live. Do you want to share maybe your top 5 rules that anybody can implement? But I know they're your own rules, but I think the main ones.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, there's like so many different things I could say in terms of what I think are just so important and crucial. But probably the first one, so one of my rules is unleash your voice. And for me, what that really means is hear yourself above the noise. So reminding yourself that you deserve to be heard, that your voice and your opinion is the one that matters. Mm-hmm. And we spend the most time inside our own life more than anyone else. And so really it's our opinion and our voice that we need to let out into the world, and our voice that we need to listen to. So that's a big one for me. So that's one. Probably the second one, I think, trashing your excuses. So I think we spend a lot of time making excuses for where we are in our life, or what happened to us, or why we stay stuck in our problems or our challenges. And I think, they really need to go. They're the first thing that needs to go. They're ancient. They don't work well in your life. They're keeping you stuck. They're keeping you unhappy. And so when we really start to eliminate our excuses and replace those excuses with more positive, forward-thinking thoughts or words or actions, we really start to make huge changes in our life. And we no longer become the victim of what happened to us or circumstances in our own life. So that's huge. Let's see. What are some of the other good ones?
I was going to say, like, the victim thing, I see that all the time in people, and they use their excuses, and I don't know, it's like, stop doing that. You have control over your life. You can you can change your life if you really want to. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
you can change your life at any moment, and guess that would lead me to my next one is make a choice, right? So
Yeah.
that the next rule is make a choice, and it's really deciding that you want to live your life differently. It's deciding that you want to look differently, or live differently, or create differently, and the road will seem super long and difficult, and have trials and tribulations, and feel very uncomfortable. But the idea is you figure it out along the way,
Mm-hmm.
and you might get off track, and you might be sidestepping, but every day it's redeciding and re-choosing to keep forging that path. And so that's huge because again, we have to claim responsibility for our own direction, and that's a lot for people to take in. It's like, wow, I can really create my life no matter what's happened to me. So that's a big one. What other good ones? Another one I think is huge, and I think this is because self-worth is such a big thing for me. I know I met you at Beauty Experiment, which is my workshop that really dedicates to self-worth and really redefining your reflection and really loving yourself as you are again.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of my rules is love yourself more, and I think that's something we don't do enough. We really allow other people to fill our cup and validate us, and instead we really need to focus inward and how do we love ourselves on a day-to-day basis. So the way we talk to ourselves, the activities we engage in, even the food we eat, all those things are little small acts of self-love and saying we deserve more and we deserve better and we deserve to feel really good. So I really believe that like the root to radical self-love and feeling really good is loving ourselves on a daily basis and really treating ourselves like we're valuable.
Mm-hmm.
So, gosh, would I have one more? Do I have one more rule?
Yeah.
Let's see. I guess I'll say this one: never stop. And that's one of my last rules because there are so many times when we want to give up and we feel frustrated and we feel defeated and we feel like we've backtracked or we want to throw in the towel. And there's going to be a million moments in life where circumstances happen. Maybe it's a death or maybe there's a crisis in our lives, and we're going to feel overwhelmed and ill-prepared, and we're going to feel frustrated. But I think the most important thing is to never stop and just to keep pushing forward. And even through the pain and the hurt and the good times and the bad and the bliss and the pain and all of that, and just keep pushing forward and never stop because you eventually will keep working toward your dreams and your goals and really keep creating the life that you really want to design for yourself. So, those are five. Those are five of my 20. So, hopefully those are pretty good.
Yeah, I love it. So would you have any tips or maybe like one tip or something for somebody so for example, someone really wants to change their life and they are, making up these rules and they're like, okay, I'm going to live by my own rules and I'm going to have a badass life. And what if they just get kind of overwhelmed with all the pressure that they're getting from the society? Like, no, this is actually, this is too unconventional for you. Like, you shouldn't be going that way. Maybe their family isn't supportive or something. Like, do you have any advice for people like that?
Yeah, I hear that so much. I think that is such a big part of we put our value in the hands and opinions of other people way too often. So, again, hearing ourselves above the noise is huge, but a lot of times it's hard to hear ourselves above the noise when how we talk to ourselves isn't so great in the first place. So I think a great place to start in any type of cultivating self-worth or self-love or really making big changes in our life and how do we kind of stick with that plan is really getting really clear and bringing awareness to how we talk to ourselves every day. So, because we think that the world and other people are our worst critics, but we tend to be our own worst critics. So I think the first thing is trying to really change the voices in our own head and being really, really clear on what we're saying to ourselves. So, I did this for years, and I still do it mentally, but I actually used to do it physically, is when fears would come up or negative self-talk or doubts or criticisms, whether they were my own or they were from other people, I would write them down. And I would write them down as they were. I would look at them, I would bring awareness to them, and I would then rewrite it in a way that felt better for me. Okay. So maybe it's, I can never start my own business because I'm not that smart or I'm not that creative. Well, it's it's rewriting that story or that language that says, you know what? I know starting my own business might be challenging, but I know I'm smart enough and I'm creative enough, and I have to do things my way. And I'm going to learn tools along the way, and I'm gonna get support from people who love me, and I'm going to figure things out slowly but surely. And it's not going to be perfect right away, but it definitely is a process, and I'm going to keep pushing forward. Mm-hmm. So I think starting to change the language is huge. So you could actually do it as a physical written practice. Now, like if anything ever creeps in, I'll like say something kind of crappy to myself, and I'm like, oh man, I'm aware of it, I recognize it, and I just replace it with something else. Like, oh man, you don't look so great in that skirt. Oh, that's not true. Hell yeah, you look fantastic. Whatever. But yeah. But just that's the idea, is really like bring awareness to like what's going on between our ears every day, because that's huge.
Yeah, that sounds really awesome. So do you want to just share with us if you have anything going on you want to share with all the viewers?
Yeah, so a couple fun things. So I do coaching, but I have a program called Alive and Unleash, which is my coaching program. But I decided to create a group coaching program around that, and it's called Alive and Unleash Together, and it's in Chicago, and it's for 6 to 8 women that are really looking to recultivate life on their own terms and really rebuild that self-worth. And it's super fun, and I only have one spot left in the program. So it starts March 13th, I think, off the top of my head. And so it's a super cool program. So if anyone's ever interested, they can reach out to me directly. And then the other big thing going on is early April, I'm hosting Beauty Experiment again, which is my workshop on April 5th. And that'll be for redefining your reflection and rebuilding self-worth and really getting comfortable with your body and your body image. So those are 2 big things going on in my world that are kind of coming up pretty quick. And then I'm also planning a retreat, but that's down the road. But it'll be in Costa Rica, so that's something to look out for. So
that's awesome. Very cool. A lot of awesome things. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Seeing you again.
Virtual hug.
Yeah. Bye. All right. So thank you, and I'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye, Kim.
Bye. So I hope you really found this helpful. I thought Allie had really great insight into living by your own rules and, taking life by its tail and just enjoying the heck out of it. So make sure to subscribe to my channel by clicking here. And make sure to also check out my website at sensualpeelblog.com.